Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is it. We are now at day number one of this new construction project that we are doing in Willis. Now, check this out. We are technically at day number 53 from the time we actually bought it. So it's taken us 53 total days to get the permitting process done, to do all this stuff. Now, I've done a few things ahead of time, like the soils report, the structural, the foundation, all that stuff was done while we were still in escrow. I was working ahead and trying to get all that stuff ahead so that as soon as we closed or shortly thereafter, I submitted all the plans, everything over to the title company. One of the things that we had to submit at that point was going to be the survey. Now, this is the survey and this is the site plan for this particular lot. Now, I'm going to show you where I start, mostly to give you an idea of how this whole process works. So we've already gone through a few things here. The first thing that we've already gone through is we've eliminated this manufactured residence. This covered porch area is already gone. All this stuff here, everything is completely gone. The deck, everything is done, including this fence that was right here. It's already been removed. So now what happens is we give this survey to the architect, and the architect basically takes the structure of the new construction that we're going to be doing and places it on the lot as it's going to sit, as it's going to appear. And so what he does here, let's zoom in just a little bit more so we can get a good idea of what this looks like, is what he does is that here are the corners of the lots. Okay, these are pins that you can actually find on the ground that are put in by the surveying company. Now what he's saying here is that from the property boundary line, which is this imaginary line here, because there's nothing there, there's just a pin here and a pin there, from this property boundary line to where the structure actually begins is going to be approximately 27 and a half feet. You see that there? 27.49, so it's 27 and a half feet. And then from this property boundary line to here is approximately 27.48. So we have to have that as part of a reference point. And then from the property boundary line on the front, so from this pin to this pin back, we have approximately 25 feet. Now, if we wanted to, we could do these other measurements that he has here. These measurements here are going to be mostly for the surveying, the guys are going to be doing the forms for the foundation. So the foundation guys are going to be getting these more exact, precise measurements for that. Now, as you can see here, we have a 25 building setback, which is that 25 BL. That's a building line. We can't build anywhere in here. That's what that little dotted line is right there. And then on the sides, we have a 5-foot BL or 5-foot building line, which means that inside of this area here, we can't build any actual structures here and here, okay? And then there's one that's going to be in the very far back of the property here, which is going to be also a 5-foot building setback. Okay. Now, the good thing about this is that, our structure is small enough and, that we'll be able to do it on there, for what the purposes of what we're trying to do is going to just give the people that are going to live there a big, massive yard, which is actually kind of nice. Now, here's where we are. I am looking at this on my phone, and I actually printed off a copy of the plan so we could have something to leave there. So you go to a local print shop, you have them printed out in 11 by 17 pieces of paper, but we're out there trying to get an idea of an estimate of where these corners are going to be so that the guys are going to be doing the forms or are going to be doing the pad for where the fill dirt's going to go. They need to have an idea of where to be. Okay, so now we are on site, and this is what it's going to look like on the ground. Okay, so at this point here, what I've done is I've taken a hammer and some of these stakes and put it into the ground, and I've put approximately right where that little nail is right there is going to be right where this little corner stake is. It's actually on the ground, but I'm trying to get it to be just as precise as possible. And then all I'm doing is I'm running a string from the front all the way to the very back of that property boundary line, simulating this line right here. And I want this to be as straight as possible so that I get an idea of where the property boundary line is. It's an imaginary line, right? But we have to respect it. We have to make sure that we're staying on one side. Now, the reason I do that is so I can get a measurement so I can see approximately 27 and a half feet in this direction. First, we're going to do a 25-foot back, which is this one here. And I know this one says 27.66 here, but it's going to be approximately 25 feet, okay? We're just focusing on the filled dirt. We're not putting in the forms for the concrete where the slab is going to go. That's not what we're doing. So what I've done is I've measured back 25 feet so that I can get this line right there, okay? So you see that other little stake right there? That is going to be right at approximately 25 feet for me. Now we are, let me pull this out a little bit more. So now that I've gotten that 25 feet here, this is going to be my 25-foot side. So now I'm standing approximately right here. I'm looking this way, and you see that other little stake right there. So what I did is I looked out this way, measured out 27.49, 27 and a half feet, and I put another stake somewhere around right there, which is that one that you see right there. Moving on to the next picture. Now from here, you really can't see it, but there's another one back there somewhere. Oh, you can barely see it. There it is. So if you can see it here, it's very faint, but that little stake that's sticking up out of the ground, that one right there is now going to be the one that's going to be on this opposite side. So what I did on that one is very simple. I just measured from the front here about 25 feet this way, and then about 27 and a half feet this way, and I put the stake right there. And I also took another measurement from here to there to make sure that was approximately 39 feet, so I could get that corner where it needs to be. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm standing approximately right here, taking this picture here, and then I'm looking out this way. And so basically this dumpster is going to be somewhere around right here. And so what I've done is I put another stake over here, basically measuring the distance here about 27 and a half feet. And then from here to here, I've measured 64 and a half. Let me show you where I get that from. So if I go to the plans here and I go to the next page over here, you'll be able to see just a basic drawing of the entire thing. So as you can see, on the left hand side here, you'll have a big massive number, which is the 64 and a half, which is basically from the front of the property here all the way to the very back of the property is this number right here is going to be 64 and a half feet. So that's where I got that distance from. And then from this far edge here all the way out to this side, it doesn't show it on here, but you can add all these numbers if you wanted to, or you can just go to the top and you can see it's 39 and a half feet. So we're looking at right at almost 40 feet from edge to edge, and that's where we got that other number from. And so all we're doing out there, guys, is just basically, doing our best to figure out where these stakes go, because the fill dirt guys need us to do that. Now, the fill dirt guys know how to do this stuff, and they typically can do it on their own. You don't have to master this. Sometimes what happens is the fill dirt guys will go out there and help me with it. It's very, very simple. It's nothing too complicated. If you don't know what you're doing, just have them do it for you. I am doing this for you guys mostly to kind of educate you and show you exactly what needs to be done. Here, what I'm pointing at is that this dumpster is a little too close. If you guys remember, I just had this dumpster right next to the structure itself, so it was way too close for me, and the guys that are doing the fill dirt are like, man, we're going to be hitting that thing, it's going to be in the way, it's too close to where the pad is going to be, so if you can move it over, because right now it's going to be right here. So what I'm doing on this picture is like showing the fill dirt guys like, hey, move it over past this stake that I put on the ground, and I also want it to be, kind of like in that little general area between, like around the string. So I was just sending that over to them. There's the guy with the dumpsters, they're just moving it back. And here is what the work that we're doing. Now, I want to point something out here real quick. This is kind of an important part. I know that we've been talking a lot about fill dirt. We've been talking a lot about trying to figure out how to get this stuff done. But here's a little bit of a challenge, okay? These guys are digging into the ground. I'm going to show you here real quick. We found, I'm going to go past that. So we're pulling up all this dirt here, and there's the stake that I drew, or I'm sorry, that I had, that I put in. There's one there. There's one over here. You can't really see them right now, but they're there. Okay, so here's the video of the guys working on it. This is what I wanted to show you. Look at how deep they've already started digging into the foundation. And this is the reason why you have to kind of know and understand this a little bit. It doesn't have to be super perfect, but check this out. Let me pause it right there. All right, if you can see right here, this little tick mark that they have right there, that designates the 12 inches that this foundation, the actual physical top of the slab needs to be right here above the crown of the road. So they've measured from the road all the way out there to here. This is the 12-inch mark, which means that this is all going to be slab, all this area here, all the way across this way. The challenge is the footings are typically going to be about 26 inches, right? 24 to 26 inches. That means 2 feet. So where the slab is here, down the slab, remember the thinnest portion of the slab is going to be about 4 inches, right? 4 inches. And then from here down, we have to have anywhere between 24 to 26 inches at a bare minimum. And the problem is that if the dirt underneath there isn't good quality dirt, then you're just setting yourself up for failure for not, digging deep enough, okay? Because we have to pass the compaction report or the compaction test as well. Now look at this. This is what's crazy. I wanted to show you this. I just stepped in that, right? Look at my footprints. That's how soft and moist and like weak this dirt is right here. You see that these are my footprints. I wanted to show you guys that. And it looks like normal dirt, but the problem is that it's not stable enough for us to be able to put it. So we have to keep going down until we can find some stability, bring in solid dirt, and then compact that correctly. And these are challenges that come across any lot. This dirt here is super sandy. It's a very, very just not good quality dirt. So because again, we have to warranty this work. We have to make sure that everything gets done correctly. This is one of the challenges that I think that sometimes people don't understand about the new construction process is, you're like, man, I'm spending so much money on dirt and all this other stuff. We were hoping that we could fill this thing in pretty easily and not have that big of a problem, but man, it's all good. It's not a big deal. So as you can see now, we've already gone down approximately 2 feet or maybe about a foot and a half so far, but we're going to keep digging down until we feel confident that the fill dirt that we bring in is going to be solid enough to be able to withstand the weight of an entire structure on this thing. All right, guys, I made this video long enough, but I just wanted to show you real quickly just the first few steps that we do by looking at the survey, looking at the site plan, figuring out where the corners go, giving some guidance to these guys who are out there doing the dirt work and doing their stuff so that we have a good solid foundation to start off with. Everything starts with a solid plan. Everything starts off with a solid foundation. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.